Assembly. May we now invite our distinguished president, a man of focus, a man who loves the National Assembly, the one that will support you to support your constituents, to now present the 2025 budget. On your mandate, we shall stand. On your mandate, on your mandate, on your mandate, we shall stand. Oh, yeah. Shall stand. On your mandate, on your mandate, on your mandate, we shall stand.
Thank you very much. Thank you. After listening to this great remark of a great mind, colleague, and the president of the Senate, I feel I could have just laid the budget and go. With your rendition of the mandate support, I can't do otherwise. I must but respect you and go through the exercise of reading. It is a great honor and pleasure for me to be back where I started. As once a member of this respected house of thinkers and doers, I am grateful to be your president. And to be here to see so many faces of my friends, colleagues, and competitors. Duties, and with unyielding commitment to rebuilding Nigeria towards ensuring that we remain steadfast on the journey to a prosperous future, I hereby present the 2025 budget to the joint section of the 11th National Assembly. 10th? I wrote 11. Which means you are all re-elected.
Oshopa, Yoruba people call am Oshopa, Otishopa. Glass no shop for Fubara. Abi Fubara no gree sign that contract because Rumor has it that Jagabana is approaching all the opposition governors to work with him for automatic comeback or come and join the winning party. And all you're seeing will be forgiven, according to my uncle Adams Oshomole. Ladies and gentlemen, Sanudezwa, una well and for come. As you listen, may Tinubu listen to you too. In Jesus' name. Amin Olodumare. It is no longer news that the emergency declaration by our commander-in-chief, I don't even know why people they call him dictator. He is the commander-in-chief. They say you know he's taking a military decision. That's what he's supposed to do. That's what commander is chief for. Commander of the chief of armed forces. Every Tom Dick and Harry is under him. So I don't understand why people are paranoid. I see people like Abati, they stretch the fact that the Tinubu said that pretty much whatever decision that the administrator will make has to be subjected to the approval of the neck, which he is sitting at the top as the king. In other words, the laws of rivers henceforth are going to be made by him. So the man, as a king, is acting like one. So let's give it to him. As far as I'm concerned, the man has the cards. According to Trump, to Zelensky, you don't have the cards. We have the cards. You don't. What Paula Tinubu is telling the opposition party here is that you don't have the cards. I do have the cards. Our people say who they cry the sea road as we all closing on Akpabio and Natasha. We should understand that Bula said that they want recall which is laughable. But let's look at this thing critically. The same day that is being quote unquote she's being recalled, the same time she appeared for Sky News, still what? Putting pressure on Akpabio, because that's what that is all about. Pressure. Giving Akpabio sleepless nights. Why Tinubu has sent Fubara on sabbatical, go and study the anatomy of wine. Because Blase no know the wine where we can drink. Even though you have spent 8 years working for him, he's not been able to understand the type of wine we could drink. So then send them on vacation. Go and learn. 6 months. You come back with a certificate and you begin to understand the kind of wine. 40 years whiskey is not just 40 years whiskey. There's a spirit to it. Let's hear the father of the nation.
Fellow Nigerians,
Father of the nation.
I feel greatly disturbed at the tone we have come to regarding the political crisis in Rivers State. Like many of you, I have watched with concern the development with hope that the parties involved will allow good sense to prevail at the soonest. But all that hope borne out without any solution to the crisis. With the crisis persisting, there's no way democratic governance, which we all fought and worked for over the years, can thrive in a way that will redound to the benefit of the good people of the state. The state has been at a standstill since the crisis started, with the good people of the state not being able to have access to the dividend of democracy. Also, it is public knowledge that the governor of Rivers State, for unjustifiable reasons, demolished the House of Assembly of the state as far back as 13th December 2023, and as up till now, 14 months after, now rebuilt the same. I have made personal interventions between the contending parties for a peaceful resolution of this crisis, but my efforts have been largely ignored by the parties to the crisis. I'm also aware that many well-meaning Nigerians, leaders of thought, and patriotic groups have also intervened at various times with the best of intentions to resolve the matter, but all their efforts were also to no avail. Still, I thank them. On February 28, 2025, the Supreme Court, in a judgment in respect to all about 8 consolidated appeals concerning the political crisis in Rivers State, based on several grave unconstitutional acts and the disregard of the rule of law that has been committed by the governor of Rivers State, as shown by the evidence before it, pronounced in very clear terms. And I quote, "A government cannot be said to exist without one of the 3 arms that make up of the government of a state under the 1999 Constitution as amended. In this case, the head of the executive arm of the government has chosen to collapse the legislature to enable him to govern without the legislature as a despot. As it is, there is no government in Rivers State," and I quote. The above pronouncement came after a catalogue of judicial findings of constitutional breaches against Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Going forward in their judgment, and having found and held that 27 members of the House who had allegedly deflected, and I quote, "are still valid members of Rivers State House of Assembly and cannot be prevented from participating in proceedings of that House by the 8th respondent, that is the governor, in cohort with 4 members," and unquote. The Supreme Court then made some orders to restore the state to immediate constitutional democracy. These orders include the immediate passing of an appropriation bill by the Rivers State House of Assembly, which up to now has not been facilitated. Some militants had threatened fire and brimstone against their perceived enemies of the governor, who has up to now not disowned them. Apart from that, both the House and the governor have not been able to work together. Both of them do not realize that they are in office to work together for the peace and good governance of the state. The latest security report made available to me show that between yesterday and today, there have been disturbing incidents of vandalization of pipelines by some militants without governor taking any action to curtail them. I have, of course, given stand order to the security agencies to ensure safety of lives of good people of Rivers State and the oil pipelines. With all this and many more, no good and responsible president will stand by and allow the grave situation to continue without taking remedial steps prescribed by the Constitution to address the situation in the state, which no doubt requires extraordinary measures to restore good governance, peace, order, and security. In these circumstances, having soberly reflected on and evaluated the political situation in Rivers State, and the governor and deputy governor of Rivers State having failed to make a request to me as president to issue this proclamation as required by Section 305, Paragraph 5 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, it has become inevitably compelling for me to invoke the provision of the Section 305 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State with effect from today, 18th March, year 2025, and I so do. By this declaration, the governor of Rivers State, Mr. Similaye Fubara, his deputy, Mrs. Ngozi Odu, and all elected members of the House of Assembly state are hereby suspended for an initial period of 6 months. In the meantime, I hereby nominate Vice Admiral Eboket Ibas, retired, as administrator to take charge of the affairs of the state in the interest of the good people of Rivers State. For the avoidance of doubt, this declaration does not affect the judicial arm of Rivers State, which shall continue to function in accordance with their constitutional mandate. The administrator will not make any new laws. He will, however, be free to formulate regulations and may be found necessary to do his job, but such regulations will need to be considered and approved by the Federal Executive Council and promoted by the President for the state. This declaration has been published in the Federal Gazette, a copy of which has been forwarded to the National Assembly in accordance with the Constitution. It is my fervent hope that this inevitable intervention will help to restore peace and order in Rivers State by awakening all the contenders to the constitutional imperatives, binding on all political players in the Rivers State in particular and Nigeria as a whole. Long live a united, peaceful, secured, and democratic Rivers State in particular, and the Federal Republic of Nigeria as a whole. God bless you all for listening. Thank you.
On your Monday we have stand. On your mandate we have stand. On your mandate, on your mandate, on your mandate we have stand. About where they shake, don't they shake things? About where they shake area. You don't just they shake any other place, they shake the real state. Rivers no be today. Who knows? Maybe na Kano will be the next place to be shake. About where do they shake? About where no they wake. So to me, this is a fuck around and find out moment. Fuck around, you find out. Tinubu is sending a message to opposition party as far as I'm concerned that is willing to use extraordinary powers to maintain control and deter opposition. That's exactly what that Goodluck Jonathan failed to understand about power that get me angry. Every time when anytime when I remember this, why Jonathan go just fuck up. Allow these miscreants thrown out of power. Just it pitches my soul. It pains me deeply and bigly. So Tinubu He's a man that studied politics from Saleko to Chicago and back to Saleko. So he is willing to use extraordinary powers to maintain control and deter opposition. That's how it's supposed to be, man. Some analysis and critics they don't start to the contribute their tokens. So a lot of them actually align with the view that I just put forward that the man is ready. He's saying a strong message to the likes of Soludo Abga, Abba of Kanu, Zulum of Borno, Shina, yeah, something, whatever that governor of Bayelsa name is, OT of Abia, uh, Soludo Solution of Anna, anybody, all the opposition governors. It's a clear message to them that if you fuck around, you're gonna find out. Pretty much that's it. Fuck around and find out. Just like Trump. You do anyhow, you see the fuck anyhow. So a lot of political pundits are already aligned with that what I just put forward. But we'll see how it goes out. So the man is using everything to consolidate power. When I hear there, you cannot and Bola Tinubu na person we understand what competition is about, what how far the opponent can go. Once you understand that, you understand why Tinubu they act the way in the act. As I said, Goodluck Jonathan was thrown out of power. I don't know if Lagos was a very sound slogan and it worked at first. So River Nubi Abuja could be the next slogan that will bring victory to Rivers, but Tinubu saw that way beforehand and swing to action. So when you have a state like Rivers, Lagos, Kano, nah man, you have to be in control. If you cannot control those states, you are finished in every form of because what it means that whoever is in that state, when they carry the money go, that means he's supporting your own opponent. So if you are in a competition and you have billionaires, people where you be a game that is money oriented like this, every fucking billionaire in the country, anybody that has access to fuck you money, you have to be on that person's house or you're running out of town. So that's exactly what is happening. Fubara and his gang, who are opposition party, not want to fall in line. They run them out of the country, just like Bob Marley said. Run the bald areas of the goddamn town. So Tinubu is a man that understands what power is and is ready to use it to consolidate power to himself. So you cannot let Rivers go. So if you follow Nigerian politics very well, you understand that what is happening is not unnecessarily surprising. Obasanjo was ready to do more than this if he had the power that Tinubu, if the constitution would have empowered him the way he empowered Tinubu now, and if what's his name, ODD was as stupid in this case, politically speaking, because it's not power game. It's not them, then they fight. It has nothing to do. They brought themselves to power by scheming the peoples out of it. So, man, the one they watch them. Now, so a state that is that rich, you have to be it's very critical to Nigerian economy and the Nigerian political landscape in general. Rivers State historically a political battleground for anybody. And Tinubu move is clearly to it's an effort to neutralize threats, any threat that will probably likely come out from that angle. You know, that will threaten the reins of All Progressive Congress, that's the APC, ahead of 2027, especially with the tension that is spinning out of hands, as if Wike is losing the upper hand. So the king has to step in and do what kings do. Other piece to come into play. So on the flip side, though, Tinubu, even though Freeman as a necessary response, according to him, grave situation undermining governance and security. Eh, so people like Robinson, Wake, and a former rep member, you gotta argue that is about restoring order. When you see men like that they speak, you know it's over. He say it's about restoring order and not just political maneuvering. However, opposition figure like Peter will be them, the PDP gang, another they call it unconstitutional. I talked yesterday. That is na grammar. Them all them show them na grammar. They will always find a way to turn it to a long dogon tranchi. They will never call for action or lead any action. Now, so they all say, oh, they no say it's unacceptable. They say it's unconstitutional. Not na grammar. If you say it's unacceptable, that's a now you are sending a stronger signal to the streets. But when you talk it's unconstitutional, it's like you're asking everybody to go back to the books. Ain't nobody got time for that. Hell no. I'll take days, weeks. Of course. That's how the game is played. So they'll turn it to arguments by saying that it's unconstitutional. As I said, they are not saying it's unacceptable. They said it's unconstitutional. It's undermining democracy and a power grab. Tranchy like that, power grab. Implication of democratic norms. You know, what are the democratic norms? So the timing, everything. I said it yesterday that shout out to Duran Devante, who his work on strategic timing explain more how opposition party exploit empathies and sympathies and fears of the people to their own advantage. So the timing is very questionable, as this is 2 years before the election, and the choice of River State, where Tinubu won in 2023 with Wike backings. So this is a preemptive strike. It's high stake grabbing, stabilizing the state under its control, and risks annihilating voters and escalating tension. Whether it's master stroke or a master steps, depending on how it plays out. Largely for me, politically speaking, and what's on ground, it's clear like daylight, clear like clear water here in Florida. That Tinubu is not leaving anything much to chance. So, it's, as I said, he no be Gulo Jonathan. Mbano. Guy is not taking anything on chance. You do anyhow, you see anyhow. So, ladies and gentlemen, the man is in control. He's not fucking around.
Fellow Nigerians, I feel greatly disturbed at the tone we have come to regarding the political crisis in Rivers State. Like many of you, I have watched with concern the development with hope that the party.
The questions are more or less related, but let me start on the note of how we got to where we are today. How did it all start? That is about the genesis. We all know how we got here. Since 2023, I think towards the end of 2023, things have not been going on well, to the extent that the governor took the law into his hands and demolished, brought down the House of Assembly. Don't forget the role of the House of Assembly. They are the lawmakers. They are to consider budget. They are to, pass budget. They are also to be approached in matters of appointment of commissioners for ratification and all other things. They are to do oversight functions. So since that happened, things have not been the same at all. In a community of 32, you expect that at least 15 or 16 will be there to do the job. The governor, like I said, and it is no longer news, about 3 or 4 of the members constituted them to the into the House of Assembly and gave them preferential treatment, moved them to the government house to be doing performing legislative functions. This situation got to the court. There were about 10, 15, 16 cases. And at the end of the day, the Supreme Court came out and made very profound findings of breaches of the Constitution, mainly against the governor. You see, you rise or fall on the basis of what you took to court and what the decision of the court is on it. The court came to the decision that the governor had long anticipated that he might be impeached. And because of that, he knew that the House of Assembly was a critical structure or organ to do that. Brought down the House of Assembly. 14 months after, that is as at yesterday, it was 14 months, there was no effort to rebuild the House of Assembly. The government stands on the tripod: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Made the functioning of government impossible. It is not enough for the executive to say we are spending money. Even the money you want to spend must have been appropriated for by the House of Assembly. These are some of the findings that made. And at the end of the day, the Supreme Court said or came to a decision that the behavior of the governor was like a despot, and that as situation was, there was no government in Rivers. If there was no government in Rivers, What else are we looking for? I'm so sorry for bringing in this issue. In the Bible, they asked Jesus Christ, "Are you the Son of God?" And he said, "Yes." Then others chorused, "What further evidence do we need from this man?" So the stage is set. But no action was taken immediately in the expectation or hope that good sense will prevail, the governor will create an enabling environment, and that the House of Assembly too would be reasonable enough to ensure that the people of Rivers actually got a return for their voting of both members of the House of Assembly and the governor and other elected officials to enjoy dividends of democracy. We are in a democracy. So, then there were what I would call telegraphing of the militants, I would say by the governor. And the reason I said so was when he beckoned to them that, he would let them know when it was time to act, to the militants. Let us say it was wrong. Did he come out to disown them? The answer is no. And a week after they swung into action, you see or witness vandalization of oil pipelines. Don't also forget that before now, that is when this government came into office, Nigeria was producing about 900,000 liters of oil a day. With the efforts and all the ingenuity that the president had, he ensured that the production rose to about 1.5 barrel per day. That's about 45 of something increase. Governors were smiling home at the end of the month with about 60% increase in their take-home to their various governors. Then somebody rose or encouraged or became inactive when he was supposed to act. There was not a word dissuading the threat, the militants who issued this threat. In today's Nigeria, maybe with the efforts of the Mr. President, a Greek will come in. Is anchored on the decision of the court, Supreme Court, of that. The second one is the inability of those involved, both the House of Assembly and the governor, from being able to, create an enabling environment for the people of Rivers to enjoy the dividends of democracy. Then the third series is about the security situation in that place. If he had waited maybe a day longer, only God knows what would have followed. And as a result of that, he came out to say, I am not only the head of state, I'm commander-in-chief of the armed forces, declared a state of emergency. The first question is hasty decision. When should he, I will ask rather rhetorically, when do you think should have come? When everything has collapsed? No. The law envisages that you come in when there is present, imminent danger to the security of lives and property. People were killing themselves. It's no longer news. It's not a question of making up the story. We all read papers every day. Those who live there are living in fears. So there is certainly the need to come in. We're about 2 years into the administration of in the state. If he didn't come in now, when do you think he should come in? Is it when everything has been destroyed? I don't think so. I think the president has acted he has given opportunity to all the people involved, the parties involved, to make amends. Before then, he had assembled them. He had tried to mediate. Some said he had no constitutional power after agreeing. And what they agreed to at the meeting were not implemented. So, to answer your question, I don't think that the president, or let me say, it's not a question of I don't think. I am certain that the president has acted timeously after giving them enough rope. And as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, it was a tough decision for him to make. It doesn't present anybody with joy to disrupt the flow of democracy or practice of it. But the Constitution itself envisages that there may be this type of situation. And that was why it is provided in Section 305 of the Constitution that extraordinary situations might arise. This is one of such extraordinary situations. The second one is about, removing the governor, removing the deputy governor. You see, you decide each case on its own peculiar facts and circumstances. Who are the people involved? Who are the parties involved in this saga? They are the governor, members of the House of Assembly. So who else should have been affected? I've heard this funny argument. I'm sorry for saying it is funny because it doesn't make any sense to me. That the president should have just gone there to secure the pipelines and then come back, when some people are there encouraging vandals to come in. The action of the president is what happened is the effect of a fundamental cause, and you cannot be treating the cause, the effect, in order to cure the cause. What was the cause? The governor and members of the House of Assembly. So you don't try to, you have to behave responsibly, and you must have the guts. If it happens again, I will encourage Mr. President to do the same, maybe this time with even greater vigor and vitality. So the question of separating or treating or giving preferential treatment to anybody does not arise. You give preferential treatment to anybody, you are giving preferential treatment to hooliganism. Let's call a spade a spade. This is where I believe that we should put up our patriotism cap. It shouldn't be about individual. It should not be about anybody. It should be about the entity called Nigeria. But in this case, the Rivers State. So, it is Rivers State's turn today. It can be anybody's turn tomorrow. Let the signal be clearly sent for those who want to make the practice of democracy and enjoyment of dividend of democracy a mirage, to think twice. So, I answered the question by saying I return a resounding no to the quest that the governor and deputy should have, or the members of the House of Assembly. They were all in it. So, then the other one is about compromise and replacement. It appears so. Don't forget, I think yesterday there was a notice of impeachment from the House of Assembly. If that impeachment had been allowed to take its full course, then the governor would have lost entirely and completely. So in a way, if you say it's a compromise, I will agree that instead of allowing the impeachment process to continue, and which in the end would have seen both the governor and the deputy governor out of office and been out for the entirety of the 4-year term, with the remainder of what we have. We have 1 year, I think about 9 months, leaving is it a balance of 2 years and 3? Thank you.
Hmm. So the guy now is trying to say that he's even lucky that they are suspending him for 6 months. Uh, if to say they allow you the impeachment go through, you will be having gone for good. If that is the case, that reinforces what I've said about the man himself. He is a genius. You know what the fuck he's doing. He's in control. He's in control of the situation. Nobody go take our play. I think he don't vex say over his dead body for what happened to Goodluck Jonathan to happen to him. You can't take him to where he doesn't want to be.